The great Japanese warrior Miyamoto Musashi, author of the Book of Five Rings, said, "There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to be better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself." We, the Japanese people, acting through our duly elected representatives in the National Diet, determine that we shall secure for ourselves and our posterity the fruits of peaceful cooperation with all nations and the blessings of liberty throughout this land, and resolve that never again shall we be visited with the horrors of war through the action of government. Do proclaim that sovereign power resides with the people, and do firmly establish this Constitution. Government is a sacred trust of the people, the authority for which is derived from the people, the powers of which are exercised by the representatives of the people, and the benefits of which are enjoyed by the people. This is a universal principle of mankind upon which this Constitution is founded. We reject and revoke all constitutions, laws, ordinances, and rescripts in conflict herewith. We, the Japanese people, desire peace for all time and are deeply conscious of the high ideals controlling human relationship. And we have determined to preserve our security and existence, trusting in the justice and faith of the peace-loving peoples of the world. We desire to occupy an honored place in an international society striving for the preservation of peace and the banishment of tyranny and slavery, oppression and intolerance for all time from the earth. We recognize that all peoples of the world have the right to live in peace, free from fear and want. We believe that no nation is responsible to itself alone, but that the laws of political morality are universal, and that obedience to such laws is incumbent upon all nations who would sustain their own sovereignty and justify their sovereign relationship with other nations. We, the Japanese people, pledge our national honor to accomplish these high ideals and purposes with all of our resources.
My friends, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain a little. Number one, it's free. Two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you've ever been looking for to make a podcast in one place. Go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Chapter 2: The Renunciation of War. Article 9. Aspiring sincerely to an international peace based on justice and order, the Japanese people forever renounce war as a sovereign right of the nation and the threat or use of force as means of settling international disputes. In order to accomplish the aim of preceding paragraph, land, sea, and air forces, as well as other war potential, will never be maintained. The right of belligerency of the state will not be recognized. Chapter 3. Rights and Duties of the People. Article 10. The conditions necessary for being a Japanese national shall be determined by law. Article 11. The people shall not be prevented from enjoying any of the fundamental human rights. These fundamental human rights guaranteed to the people by this Constitution shall be conferred upon the people of this and future generations as eternal and inviolable rights. Article 12. The freedoms and rights guaranteed to the people by this Constitution shall be maintained by the constant endeavor of the people, who shall refrain from any abuse of these freedoms and rights shall always be responsible for utilizing them for the public welfare. Article 13. All of the people shall be respected as individuals. Their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness shall, to the extent that it does not interfere with the public welfare, be the supreme consideration in legislation and in other governmental affairs. All of the people are equal under the law, and there shall be no discrimination in political, economic, or social relations because of race, creed, sex, social status, or family origin. Peers and peerage shall not be recognized. No privilege shall accompany any award of honor, decoration, or any distinction, nor shall any such award be valid beyond the lifetime of the individual who now holds or hereafter may receive it. Article 15. The people have the inalienable right to choose their public officials and to dismiss them. All public officials are servants of the whole community and not of any group thereof. Universal adult suffrage is guaranteed with regard to the election of public officials. In all elections, secrecy of the ballot shall not be violated. A voter shall not be answerable publicly or privately for the choice he has made. Article 16. Every person shall have the right of peaceful petition for the redress of damage, for the removal of public officials, for the enactment, repeal, or amendment of laws, ordinances, or regulations, and for other matters, nor shall any person be in any way discriminated against for sponsoring such a petition. Article 17. Every person may sue for redress as provided by law from the state or a public entity, in case he has suffered damage through illegal act of any public official. Article 18. No person shall be held in bondage of any kind. Involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime, is prohibited. Freedom of thought and conscience shall not be violated. Article 20. Freedom of religion is guaranteed to all. No religious organization shall receive any privileges from the state, nor exercise any political authority. No person shall be compelled to take part in any religious act, celebration, rite, or practice. The state and its organs shall refrain from religious education or any other religious activity. Article 21. Freedom of assembly and association, as well as speech, press, and all other forms of expression are guaranteed. No censorship shall be maintained, nor shall the secrecy of any means of communication be violated. Article 22. Every person shall have freedom to choose and change his residence and to choose his occupation to the extent that it does not interfere with the public welfare. Freedom of all persons to move to a foreign country and to divest themselves of their nationality shall be inviolable. Article 23. Academic freedom is guaranteed. Article 24. Marriage shall be based only on the mutual consent of both sexes, and it shall be maintained through mutual cooperation with the equal rights of husband and wife as a basis. With regard to choice of spouse, property rights, inheritance, choice of domicile, divorce, and other matters pertaining to marriage and the family, laws shall be enacted from the standpoint of individual dignity and the essential equality of the sexes. Protect the ones you love. You've spent a life together. Now you're charting a new course. But have you considered what would happen if you were no longer there to take care of your loved ones? While absolutely nothing can replace you, having life insurance means that if something were to happen to you, your loved ones would be okay financially. Protect the ones you love with life insurance. Click on the link below and schedule an appointment to sit down and chat with me. I can help. Article 25. All people shall have the right to maintain the minimum standards of wholesome and cultured living. In all spheres of life, the state shall use its endeavors for the promotion and extension of social welfare and security and of public health. Article 26. All people shall have the right to receive an equal education corresponding to their ability as provided by law. All people shall be obligated to have all boys and girls under their protection receive ordinary education as provided by law. Such compulsory education shall be free. Article 27. All people shall have the right and the obligation to work. Standards for wages, hours, and rest and other working conditions shall be fixed by law. Children shall not be exploited. Article 28. The right of workers to organize and to bargain and act collectively is guaranteed. Article 29. The right to own or to hold property is inviolable. Property rights shall be defined by law in conformity with the public welfare. Private property may be taken for public use upon just compensation therefor. Article 30. The people shall be liable to taxation as provided by law. Article 31. No person shall be deprived of life or liberty, nor shall any other criminal penalty be imposed except according to procedure established by law. Article 32. No person shall be denied the right of access to the courts. Article 33. No person shall be apprehended except upon warrant issued by a competent judicial officer, which specifies the offense with which the person is charged, unless he is apprehended, the offense being committed. Article 34. No person shall be arrested or detained without being at once informed of the charges against him, or without the immediate privilege of counsel. Nor shall he be detained without adequate cause, and upon demand of any person such cause must be immediately shown in open court in his presence and the presence of his counsel. Article 35. The right of all persons to be secure in their homes, papers, and effects against entries, searches, and seizures shall not be impaired except upon warrant issued for adequate cause, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the things to be seized, or except as provided by Article 33. Each search or seizure shall be made upon separate warrant issued by a competent judicial officer. Article 36. The infliction of torture by any public officer and cruel punishments are absolutely forbidden. Article 37. In all criminal cases, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial tribunal. He shall be permitted full opportunity to examine all witnesses, and he shall have the right to compulsory process for obtaining witnesses on his behalf at public expense. At all times, the accused shall have the assistance of competent counsel, who shall, if the accused is unable to secure the same by his own efforts, be assigned to his use by the state. Article 38. No person shall be compelled to testify against himself. Confession made under compulsion, torture, or threat, or after prolonged arrest or detention shall not be admitted in evidence. No person shall be convicted or punished in cases where the only proof against him is his own confession. Article 39. No person shall be held criminally liable for an act which was lawful at the time it was committed, or of which has been acquitted, nor shall he be placed in double jeopardy. Article 40. Any person, in case he is acquitted after he has been arrested or detained, may sue the state for redress as provided by law. Chapter 4. Article 41. The Diet shall be the highest organ of state power and shall be the sole lawmaking organ of the state. Article 42. The Diet shall consist of two houses, namely the House of Representatives and the House of Councilors. Article 43. Both houses shall consist of elected members representative of all the people. The number of all the members of each house shall be fixed by law. Article 44. The qualifications of members of both houses and their electors shall be fixed by law. However, there shall be no discrimination because of race, creed, sex, social status, family origin, education, property, or income. Article 45. The term of office of members of the House of Representatives shall be 4 years. However, the term shall be terminated before the full term is up in case the House of Representatives is dissolved. Article 46. The term of office of members of the House of Councilors shall be 6 years, and election for the House for half of the members shall take place every 3 years. Article 47. Electoral districts, methods of voting, and other matters pertaining to the method of election of members of both houses shall be fixed by law. Article 48. No person shall be permitted to be a member of both houses simultaneously. Article 49. Members of both houses shall receive appropriate annual payment from the National Treasury in accordance with law. Article 50. Except in cases provided by law, members of both houses shall be exempt from the apprehension while the Diet is in session, and any members apprehended before the opening of the session shall be freed during the term of the session upon demand of the House. Article 51. Members of both houses shall not be held liable outside the House for speeches, debates, or votes cast inside the House. Article 52. An ordinary session of the Diet shall be convocated once per week. Article 53. The Cabinet may determine the convoke extraordinary sessions of the Diet when a quarter or more of the total members of either House makes the demand. The Cabinet must determine on such convocation. Article 54. When the House of Representatives is dissolved, there must be a general election of members of the House of Representatives within 40 days from the date of dissolution, and the Diet must be convocated within 30 days from the date of the election. When the House of Representatives is dissolved, the House of Councilors is closed at the same time. However, the Cabinet may, in time for national emergency, convoke the House of Councilors in emergency session. Measures taken at such session, as mentioned in the proviso of the preceding paragraph, shall be provisional and shall become null and void unless agreed to by the House of Representatives within a period of 10 days after the opening of the next session of the Diet. Article 55. Each House shall judge disputes related to the qualifications of its members. However, in order to deny a seat to any member, it is necessary to pass a resolution by a majority of 2/3 or more of the members present. Article 56. Business cannot be transacted in either House unless 1/3 or more of total membership is present. All matters shall be decided in each House by a majority of those present, except as elsewhere provided in the Constitution. And in case of a tie, the presiding officer shall decide the issue. Article 57. Deliberation in each House shall be public. However, a secret meeting may be held where a majority of 2/3 or more of those members present passes a resolution therefor. Each House shall keep a record of proceedings. This record shall be published and given general circulation, expecting such parts of proceedings of secret session as may be deemed to require secrecy. Upon demand of 1/5 or more of the members present, votes of the members on any matter shall be recorded in the minutes. Article 58. Each House shall select its own president and other officials. Each House shall establish its own rules pertaining to meetings, proceedings, and internal discipline, and may punish members for disorderly conduct. However, in order to expel a member, a majority of 2/3 or more of the House of those members present must pass a resolution thereon. Article 59. A bill becomes a law on passage by both houses, except as otherwise provided by the Constitution. A bill which is passed by the House of Representatives and upon which the House of Councilors makes a decision different from that of the House of Representatives becomes a law when passed a second time by the House of Representatives by a majority of 2/3 or more of the members present. The provision of the preceding paragraph does not preclude the House of Representatives from calling for the meeting of a joint committee of both houses provided for by law. Failure by the House of Councilors to take final action within 60 days after receipt of a bill passed by the House of Representatives, time in recess expected, may be determined by the House of Representatives to constitute a rejection of the said bill by the House of Councilors. Article 60. The budget must first be submitted to the House of Representatives. Upon consideration of the budget, when the House of Councilors makes a decision different from that of the House of Representatives, and when no agreement can be reached, even through a joint committee of both houses, provided for by law, or in the case of the failure by the House of Councilors to take action within 30 days, the period of recess excluded, after the receipt of the budget passed by the House of Representatives, the decision of the House of Representatives shall be the decision of the Diet. Article 61. The second paragraph of the preceding article applies also to the Diet approval required for the conclusion of treaties. Article 62. Each House may conduct investigations in relation to government and may demand the presence of testimony of witnesses and the production of records. Article 63. The Prime Minister and other ministers of state may, at any time, appear in either House for the purpose of speaking on bills, regardless of whether they are members of the House or not. They must appear when their presence is required in order to give answers or explanations. Article 64. The Diet shall set up an impeachment court from among the members of both houses for the purpose of trying those judges against whom removal proceedings have been instituted. Matters relating to impeachment shall be provided by law. Your journey to financial fitness begins with just one step. It can seem daunting to get all your financial ducks in a row, but the beauty of any journey is that it doesn't happen all at once. Step by step, goal by goal, do that next good thing by putting financial protection in place with life insurance. Then, no matter what happens in your financial or life journey, your loved ones will be okay financially. Take that first step today. Click on the link below and schedule an appointment with me. I can help.